This is the most quantum leap that we've had in that arena, my opinion, since we took the powder and we put it in a case. After we had shot, I had thought that case is doing way more than I think it's doing. Smaller internal dimension, this is helping build pressure, but then this much, much, much stronger material is containing that pressure.
What is up, everybody? Mark on the mic, across from me, Mr. Ryan Muckenhirn, with the intro music from a band called...
Clutch.
Never heard of it. Guys, coming in hot. As hot as the 7mm Backcountry. This thing is cooking, and it is cooking out of a very short barrel. Ryan, you and I got the chance to shoot these a little bit the other day in one of our Cartridge Talk video escapades. Had a lot of fun.
Best intro ever.
I just went for it.
Golly. Ladies and gentlemen, Clutch. The song was 100111001. That's off the Robot Hive and Exodus album. It's a good one. Neil Fallon, I'm going to tell you, he's got some vocals that are just something else.
Ryan, what sparked this whole thing is I said zero like 3 times in a row in kind of like a robot voice.
You scratched my brain in a very...
And here we are. You were upset with me a second earlier because you made this beautiful display.
Yeah, because he goes, oh, expletive. I forgot something. And he comes back with the exact same array of ammo that I have on the table.
Yeah, but these look so nice. This is the display model.
Okay.
This is the one that I get to look at, and
this
turn
is
around,
not
check velocities.
This is not the katana on QVC that we cut ourselves with.
No.
This is the one on the stand.
Odell.
Oh, you really got yourself.
Yeah, no, that was good. A good time shooting the other day. We had 2 rifles. One of them a Weatherby with a
22-inch.
22-inch barrel.
So that was a Mark V Go Wild edition.
Right.
Yeah.
The one that we have on the table here, Ryan thought it was going to get too cluttery having all this stuff.
Yeah, God forbid I have my coffee cup up here sometime.
It's get a glass cup.
It is a glass. Oh, you hate it when I have the paper cups.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Looks cheap.
I stopped drinking coffee now.
You're off it.
Yeah, trying to be, man. Oh, can I say another thing, too?
That's a fully good choice. We shouldn't deny ourselves one of life's greatest pleasures.
I got an email from a podcast listener.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bring this up. This is personal. Who said, hey, I saw a lot of comments on the past several podcasts that you look sick.
A little gaunt lately.
Okay, first of all, I do a lot of rucking. I'm preparing for an elk hunt. That's coming up. I'm down about 50 pounds. I also do a lot of lifting. This is recent. It's been about 4 weeks, 5 weeks now of lifting. I'm just shy of 400 miles hiked since June 18th. It's October 1st. You'll have that.
You'll get that on the big jobs, huh?
Yep. Eating clean. Still sober.
That's good.
Not dying. October 17th, it'll be 16 years.
Good for you.
Hmm?
I've been on the sauce. Did I say on or off?
Oh, you said on.
Since 8 a.m. this morning. Maybe that's what prompted
you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
That free-form intro. No, just limited. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm not
judging.
And really, for me, it's just, my body's not built for it anymore.
Mark, you're 38 years old.
I'm 26 years old.
Do whatever you want.
Ryan, we shot these rifles.
We did shoot these rifles.
And I'd say what I think was somewhat unique about what we did is we had all 5 factory. We had 2 rifles, all 5 factory loadings that we shot through each of the rifles.
Yeah.
We were testing them for accuracy. We wanted to see what kind of groups that we could get, as well as really wanted to see firsthand.
Is it real?
Yeah, is it real? Does it live up to the hype? Is it doing what they say it does?
Yeah.
We've covered this in, I guess I mentioned it a little bit in the intro. We covered this, in in the video, in the original podcast that we did with Mr. Eric Miller from Federal.
Yeah.
That was a fun one.
It
was
was
a while back, actually.
Coming up, it's almost a year ago.
Almost a year ago. Well, we had our intention was to launch this series sooner. We had a couple delays.
Yeah.
And so some of the pieces just got put together a further bit down the road. So, but the whole thing, not the whole thing, but a big part of the 7mm backcountry, it features what Federal calls their peak alloy case, which allows a person or the company to load these cartridges at a much higher pressure than, I guess, you'd say is average. What an average brass case,
60,
big game,
62,500 PSI.
Yeah, okay, I was going to say around 60.
It's about max Sammy, yep.
These are being loaded to approximately 80,000 PSI,
Yeah.
which is more PSIs.
That's more, baby.
And which equates to increased velocity and really impressive velocities out of shorter barrels, which I don't know if the listeners out there know, but suppressors are getting more and more popular these days. People are using them on their big game rifles. And so a person can take this cartridge with a very appropriate... Why are you looking at me like that?
Because of the way you said it, because of the way your face moved. It doesn't...
I was being a little sarcastic.
Here's the thing, Mark. It doesn't matter the topic we cover. Exodus will be here. He will find you.
I know.
Dude, we got to find that guy.
Oh, we'll get him.
Shoot me an email.
I shoot him an email about once a day, telling him his
Does he have your
encouragement
email?
is appreciated.
Or
Yeah.
you just slide? You just?
Oh no, it was in the comments.
Okay.
He's always very creatively encouraging me to get a suppressor.
Reach out to me directly because we have some work to do. You and I. My email is my first letter of my first name followed by my last name at vortexoptics.com. That way the transcriber scrubber can't spam me.
Oh. Yeah. Very clever.
Yeah, very clever.
Okay, so we covered the peak alloy case, which is a steel alloy case.
Yep.
We covered the high PSIs, and a lot of this is somewhat redundant but you gotta
Sure.
set a baseline. Maybe somebody didn't see the previous pieces of content, which if you haven't, I suggest you go back and look. And then the bullet palette that Federal is loading these in. I mean, we have 2 terminal ascents.
Yep, 155 and 170.
We have a Barnes loading.
168 LRX.
And then the 195 Burger.
And the 175 Fusion.
And the 175 Fusion.
Yes.
Lest I forget the venerable and economical Fusion option.
And we'll get to this in a little bit.
If you can't find a bullet to knock something down in this group, I don't know what your plan is.
I'll tell you what, aside from the Burger, every bullet otherwise, anything you want in North America. Oh.
No, wait, hold on. That's the whole reason. See, that's why I brought my own.
Okay. Thanks, Mark. And I only say that about the Burger because it is a bullet designed for very long-range engagements. It will work famously on short-range engagements. You've got to target your shots a little bit. They're not designed for, max weight retention. So if you're trying to punch your shoulders on very large critters at close distances, move back from the shoulder.
Yeah, I would say move back. You're working with 195 grains here too.
True. That's true. Okay, how about this? My personal
and I brought this up. I can't remember if I brought this up or not in the production. Before, after, during, I don't know. The only moose that I've ever killed
Burger bullet
was with a Burger at a substantial distance, and it ran 20 yards and tipped over.
And you recovered the projectile.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like a regular bullet.
There wasn't a whole lot left. The lungs were 100%
Christmas
just
jello.
juiced. Yeah, like it was just a slurry. But
Yikes. Dead.
What was the result, right?
Dead.
Didn't get an exit, recovered the bullet, just kind of the front face of it. It was a little bit more of like a wafer of the front end of the bullet, I guess, if that makes sense. I did hit it, essentially in the crease, so I did not hit bone on the way in. But my personal sample group of one. Oh, and I shot a Coos deer with a burger at 525, and it performed famously as well. So
Yeah.
there's,
I noticed
there's the tube.
What distance do you shoot the moose at?
733.
Woof.
Dude,
Hey,
rock solid. Everything was perfect.
see, you say that. I've shot with you so many times. I've seen you make shots with such BS rests that just ding. Mark Boardman, ladies and gentlemen.
This was stacked packs, heavy, like a physically heavy 300 Ultra Meg off a bipod.
Yeah.
Viper HSLR 6-24.
Dead.
And
You got that thing up on your wall yet?
no, sell at my brother's house.
Unbelievable.
I need to get it.
Send me his contact info. I got to talk to him anyway about something.
Anyway, if that bullet shot really well out of your give me my stuff back. Out of your rifle, and you're doing maybe a specific type of hunting, whatever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't tell a person not to.
No.
It's just it's
It's a special bullet.
a special bullet.
Yep.
The terminal ascents, tough as nails, drive deep,
Crazy BCs.
crazy BCs. I mean, you're getting like target bullet like BCs out of it.
Yep.
Man, if they shoot well out of your rifle,
Rock and roll.
rock and roll.
Your good buddy Remy, he liked those.
Yeah, he's a big fan of the terminal ascents.
Yeah. Our very own Ryland Benson also likes them.
I believe that too. What's he shoot it out of?
6.5, not 300. You know what he shoots out of his 300? Same load I did for your 300 with a 175 LRX that was just absolutely screaming and like one hole. The one where I said, hey, if you just order up this Hell's Canyon Armory magazine, you can have this unbelievable terminal package. And I told you that 18 days ahead of your hunt, you just chose not to.
I chose the more simple option.
That'll
be a fun one. We'll do that. That'll be a fun little winter project.
Okay, sure.
And then, the Barnes. Everybody knows Ryan loves a Barnes bullet. This is the 168 TTSX or LRX. Yeah.
Yep. I just got back from Barnes, actually. I visited them on Friday of last week.
Mm-hmm. How was it?
I'm going to tell you something. I understand why I shoot their factory ammunition and why it does not disappoint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything you can just the level of precision and
Control. So very small company. And I was with Mr. Greg Sloan, who we've had on the podcast here. He's one of the nicest guys in the industry.
Oh, he's always a joy to visit with, yeah.
And Greg, if you're listening, thanks for showing me the water tank, man. The neatest part about this org is Greg could walk through it, as I think many of the employees there, because there were about 70 employees. Greg could walk through from the front desk and help with a customer service phone call, where Alan sits now, by the way. Beautiful showroom, Mona, Utah. And then Greg could walk through and operate every single facet of the production.
That's cool.
From like cutting the slugs from the copper wire that they use for the bullets, to retooling the machines and the presses that actually shape that, to making the tools, to repairing the things, to loading the ammo, to testing the ammo, to I mean, all of it. And it was one of the best tours I've been on. But I digress.
Well, I mean, it's worth pointing out.
There's a reason that bullet is in that case. Is the point?
Oh, I believe it. And I don't know why I said TTSX, because I knew it was the LRX.
No,
and it makes sense for it.
They also look the same.
They look the same, but it makes more sense that this bullet, not that they might offer the other one in this at some point in time, but this one does make the most sense. And then we have
the Fusion.
The Fusion. which has a little bit different case finish. Now, I think we talked about that in the original podcast as well.
Yep.
But I've never heard a negative about the Fusion.
I've never seen a Fusion not shoot in any caliber.
Right. It makes me sometimes I think like, why don't I shoot that bullet more?
Including their shotgun slugs.
Oh, I think you've mentioned that before too.
Yeah.
Which I've definitely never shot those.
No, there's somewhat of a magical property to the Fusion. And it was just a few years ago that they did the Fusion tipped. Because the typical Fusion...
Yeah. Again, I keep misspeaking.
It's fine. It's a bullet that not a lot of people know about. And I think it gets passed over, possibly due to its economy. And...
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, I'd say, for me, a little bit, I would have previously passed it over because it didn't have the cool polymer
the racy tip. Well, the racy tip helps. I'm going to say this.
I agree. Like, it's not just an aesthetic that I'm looking for.
And I promise we're not going to just jump into a deep dive here.
Oh, here, right. I've got some over here if you need them.
Oh, do you? That's good. Well, you had your own show and tell ammo too, but you decided to grab mine.
That's
that
what
I
I'm talking about. Where did it go?
put up. This has a G7 BC of a .289. So for those on the G1 scale, 575. That has nothing to scoff at.
No.
And yeah,
I mean, what was that one? Let's pick.
Look at the 155 terminal set.
That's what I was trying to.
Or actually, 170 terminal set.
You want me to do the 170? Because
Yep.
I got the one.
No,
I was
170.
thinking the 155. Since you start a G1 of 645.
Yeah, so it's within 50 points.
Right.
Or 70 points.
I mean, 645. Like, I mean that is a very
They're
attractive
very high.
PC, but there's nothing to sneeze at, like you said,
No.
with the terminal set.
And
And I'd say, again, and also looking at, both of those bullets exemplifies why I think, at least for the introduction and what they wanted to accomplish with this cartridge, why they chose a 7mm.
Oh, agreed.
Is because, I mean, just the intrinsic properties of a 7mm bullet is you kind of get a little bit of a, high BC, racy bullet.
Yeah.
I know back in, or I don't know, I'm pretty sure that like back in, I guess what I would consider the
day,
or even like the early Gunworks days, right? Custom turrets coming out 1,000 yards out of the box, long range is making its inroads into the hunting scene. They've got their TV show, which maybe they still have, but I think a significant number of the rifles that they were kicking out the door were 7mm rim mags. Sure. If I'm wrong, call me. But I think that was kind of their go-to, right? And again, for all the stuff we just talked about.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk just a little bit more about the cartridge.
Talk a little bit more about the cartridge, and then we should talk about a little bit about the rifles that we shot.
I'm going to say this is a little op-ed, if you will. I think that's the right word to use.
Okay.
Nothing it's so substantial in firearms cartridge technology has come out in the past century as this.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few cartridges that really get me, I guess, excited because nothing is really new. I'm going to give you a couple of noteworthies. 6.5 Creedmoor.
Absolutely.
Because they fixed the problem that 260 had that I tried so hard to love. I tried 4 times to love that
I was going to say.
And then that cartridge ushered into the global, I was almost going to say American, but the global shooting populace, the ability to recreate at distance so easily and so economically with little recoil and to have also an extraordinarily effective hunting solution. Because I hunt with 6.5 Creedmoor a lot. And I've killed the biggest mule deer I've ever killed was with a 6.5 Creedmoor.
Same.
Yeah.
My 2 biggest mule deer actually were 6.5 Creeds. And this is going to sound, I'm not trying to sound pinky up or I'm doing something, I'm leaving for a trip here shortly that is way outside the realm of what I would normally do.
What are you shooting?
I will be hunting red stag in Scotland. You know that, I told you. But I say that to point out I will be borrowing a rifle when I get there. I didn't want to have to
Deal with it.
Traveling with a rifle internationally. And I'm nearly positive, if not positive, it will be a 6.5 Creedmoor.
Is it a Sacco?
I think so, yeah.
I hope it's a Carbon Wolf.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, that's nice, God.
6.5 Creedmoor is not what we're talking about, but it was revolutionary in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and at the same time, though, it really was just a 260 done right.
Yes.
Yep. And so, like, that's a stretch in comparison to what Peak Alloy is doing. And like, I'll give you the big grand reveal here. I think that this is the biggest thing that we've done in terms of metallic cartridge technology since the advent of metallic cartridge technology. Like, we used to have bullets, paper, and powder. And then we wrapped it all up into a copper case. We gave it, an explosive rimmed compound. We had these slow, sluggish rim cartridges that then bred us things like 4570, that then bred us things like 3030, that then bred us things like 300 Savage, that then bred us things so on and so forth down the line. This is the most quantum leap that we've had in that arena, my opinion, since we took the powder and we put it in a case.
That's
because
that is a bold statement.
Well, hear me out. Nitro powder, so smokeless powder, was huge. Quantum leap over BPE cartridges or BP cartridges. Cordite was in the middle. It was a little kind of a weird British project. It worked. Everything else has just been increasing volume in order to achieve what we've done here. Just simply volume, which that is not a statement that should be an intentional understatement, because from that we've ended up with some unbelievably wonderful cartridges like 300 Winchester Magnum, 300 Short Magnum. We just displaced volume in a different way, and we use geometry to build pressure and to do these things. But by going to this case technology and putting it in a cartridge size that's sensible and not such a voluminous and voluptuous cartridge, what we end up with is like rock star performance in basically an .6 case from a dimensional standpoint. And
it's kind of a right in the middle size.
Yeah. And like, I have no qualms with big cases. I'm having a 300 Super built right now. I'm taking a 300 Win Mag on an elk hunt. One of my deadliest guns that I hunted with the most was a 300 Weatherby. That's as big as you can get them almost. And they're fine. Like, they serve their purpose, but golly, they're big and temperamental, and they drink powder like a pirate, and they're just a lot to handle. And this is something so very different. And like, full admission, we talk a lot about cartridges here. I'm adjacent to cartridges on a daily basis, whether it's customers with inquiry or whether it's cutting custom turrets or running ballistic solutions for people. In the 21-ish years that I've been doing this, I've seen a good number of cartridges come to market that say, like, this is what it can do. Very, very, very few actually can do what is posted on the box.
Well, and I think that's why we were so curious. We're like, okay, that sounds pretty neat.
Yeah, and
I'm intrigued.
Oh yeah,
but I kind of need to see it for yourself, sort of thing. I'm going to throw one more thing out at you.
Please do.
As far as advancements, and I'd say this would be. I feel like the Peak Alloy was like a distinct jump, right? Like, it was like, boom, here to here. But another thing that I think is incredibly, okay, I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth here. Another thing I think that is incredibly significant that we've seen over time is bullet technology and construction.
100%, yes.
And that's also allowing us to do a lot of these amazing feats, right?
Very good point.
Now, I say that. Now, I was at a range of, I want to say, like 240 yards last week, or not last week, but recently watched a guy kill a good-sized black bear, 240 yards, 301 meg. I think it was like, a Federal Power Shock soft point.
A ho-hum bullet by standards.
Ho-hum, and, fantastic shot, perfect placement, in my opinion. And, it ran about 50 yards on a...
Piled up.
I mean, it was like literally a dead run. And,
Yes, that is not the bullet necessarily that you would have executed the same shot on your moose or your black bear with, because it lacked the profile to...
True.
Yeah. So, no,
True.
That's a good point, Mark. That's a very good point. But, so the first time I held a 7BC in my hand and the number was issued to me, the first one I held was the fusion loading. So it's a 175 grain projectile at tick over 3K and 31 and a quarter out of a 24-inch gun, to be specific. I thought to myself, looking at the dimensions of the case, not knowing what's in the case, I thought, okay, that's either a gross overstatement of what it is actually capable of, or they're loading it with powder that we would never, ever put in a rifle. Ever. And so there was a huge amount of skepticism. And then the first time I shot one was a 20-inch gun that our very good friend Matt Peterson put together. And it stabilized in about 5 or 6 rounds. And then all of a sudden, we had single-digit SDs at $3,000 out of a 20-inch gun. And I thought, oh my gosh. And I still had not pulled a bullet, and I still had not looked at the powder. So now I was like hooked on the performance values. I was still very nervous about how we got there. And like one of my points of reserve or caution or trepidation or whatever is initially upon the launch, Federal had said load data inbound, like working with manufacturers to get this ready to go. And they even put out a great video of one of the ballisticians at Federal in Anoka reloading a peak alloy case with a slightly modified process than what we as metallic cartridge reloaders, specifically those with bottlenecked rifle cartridges, would utilize. But it was innocuous. Like nothing about it was like, oh, he didn't, like speculation that I had heard, right at launch was you had to like run the case through the sizing die 6-7 times.
Right.
No, you ran it through once, just with regular lubrication. The only thing different about it is instead of, from what I can tell in the video, there's no expander mandrel in the case, in the die that's opening the mouth up. We're closing the mouth. The final stage of the process prior to seating is a slight belling to the case mouth, which typically you would do on a straight walled case or a pistol case. And so then I thought, oh, okay, well, they're now exacerbating pressure via neck tension, and then what I assumed was pistol powder or a very, very fast powder, because there's not enough case volume to fill it with like some sort of magnum cannon powder like H50 BMG or Retumbo or H1000 or US 869. Like that's illogical for the case. Like we're not going to generate that energy with a medium to slow or super slow powder. We had to move with something fast, right? And then we pulled one apart and got really excited.
What do you feel you can talk about your personal exploits of
I'll tell it all.
Dissecting?
I'll tell it all, Mark.
Now, some of it's speculation, though. I mean, obviously, no.
Okay. So one of our engineers here, hobbyist gunsmith, brilliant engineer in the mechanical space, brilliant engineer in the electrical space. I would say 2 to 3 tiers above average enthusiast basement ballistician. I said, hey, have you been paying attention to this thing? He says, I really haven't. I said, we just got off the range with it, and this is what it's doing. And he was courting the idea of a 280 Ackley.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, which is a cartridge I run, which I really enjoy. For contrast.
Fine cartridge.
Yeah, we'll get to a side by side with the 280 AI.
Well, and I always say the people who I know, that includes you, Ryan, that own and run and have an affinity for the 280 AI, they generally know their stuff.
It's a sexy cartridge,
mm-hmm.
and it does some interesting things. I was, I don't want to get derailed yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm handing him the case and I'm showing him the chronograph data. He's like, no way. I'm like, way, dude. Like, way. Like, we shot him. This is what they're doing. And it's like not magic. The Weatherby's a factory offering. Right? You go on weatherby.com, find a dealer near you. It's a Mark V Go Wild edition and 7 BC. 22-inch spiral fluted barrel. It's a real good-looking gun.
It's right over there. Can I just go get it?
You can go get it. I'll just keep talking. And he is, like I said, he's a brilliant reloader. He's an engineer. He's a very competent gunsmith. He's got his own equipment, chambers his own barrels, threads his own barrels. He's very good at it, right? And so he takes one of the cases from me, and I said, you should pull it. Yeah, this is the Weatherby. So it's the only difference between this Mark V and any other Mark V that you would buy is, typically speaking, in a 473 bolt face, which is what this cartridge is. So it's the same case head as an .6, 308, 65 Creedmoor, 22 250, etc. Weatherby typically reserves that case head diameter in the Mark V in what's called a 6-lug action. This is a 9-lug action. So this is what we would see a 300 Win Mag, 257 Weatherby, 300 Weatherby in. And if you look at the bolts and you count the lugs on the bolt head, there are 9 of them. So it's a slightly larger diameter action. It's a slightly larger bolt in diameter and size and mass. I think, and I'm speculating, I think they did that for safety, but not because they necessarily needed to. I think they did that because they thought, well, why not? Like,
yeah, definitely beefed up.
Yeah. Yep. And
why not?
Not
right?
Inappropriate. Like, the gun is not a burden to carry. It's still very nimble. So anyway, Ben takes one of these cases home.
I mean, so are you saying that you think,
could it go in a 6-lug?
Right. Like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they tested, they ran the numbers. I guarantee, they did all the things. They tested it. They did,
sure.
And like you said, maybe it was like just to be
cautious.
And maybe like some of this is, it's a little bit uncharted territory.
It is. But there's some,
But I say that though, Ryan, but when they're testing, like, when they're testing guns, for your standard brass cartridge,
they're overblowing them on purpose.
Right. They're loading those to extreme pressures.
Yep. A 6-lug is a pretty scant receiver. It's a really handsome receiver. So, and again, these people are smarter than I am. So you're right. They probably ran a 6-lug variant and said we should go with a 9.
Yeah. It's like, again, like even with the 6-lug, it's not like it's okay up to 62. Right. Like it can handle. So I wonder if it's almost they just used the same. Again, this is just me speculating, but like almost like a similar ratio. Yeah.
Sure. So Benny took a case home and he pulled it, captured all the powder, did a water capacity, an H2O capacity comparison between it would have been the Fusion loading, this case, and then a 280 AI case. And I can't remember whose case he used for that. And came back with the powder, the projectile, the case, and the numbers. And what floored me was, after we had shot, I had thought that case is doing way more than I think it's doing. It's not just a stronger case. I think it's doing way more than I think it's doing. And Ben kind of agreed. The 280 AI had over 2 grains more water capacity than the 7 BC. So the internal on the 7 BC is smaller. The powder charge through this program that Ben was running, kind of like quick loads, but not, because quick loads are very expensive. He measured the the powder mass in a powder that we assumed was a Ramshot product, just based on its granulation and its shape and size and density and, fluff, whatever. We're pretty positive it's a Ramshot product or an equivalent, right? A ballistic equivalent to it, what you would buy off the shelf. He took the 280 AI case and he took that powder and he ran it up to the speculative, well, not the speculative, the measured charge weight of this, and it hit 80,000 PSI.
Interesting.
Yeah. But we know that the brass isn't going to take it.
The math was mathing.
Yeah, the math was mathing. The brass wasn't going to take it. The brass is going to yield at 80K. So the case, peak alloy, smaller internal dimension, this is helping build pressure. But then this much, much, much stronger material is containing that pressure. So now it's not just like internal geometry of the case and shape of the case, but it's also composition and construction of the case that's keeping this together. Why your gun doesn't blow up at 80,000 PSI is because the case is taking the brunt of it.
Right.
Yeah. And looking at the powder charge, it's not a lot. It's not like if it was pistol powder that you would be putting in there, you'd be putting in gobs of pistol powder. It's not pistol powder. It's a medium burn rate. And in fact, I know this with 100% certainty because I've seen the data. It's a medium burn rate rifle powder that you would load in a cartridge like 280 Ackley.
So the case is, I guess as
advertised.
Assumed, it is the secret sauce.
It is the case. There's a little more powder, but not a lot. Like I've loaded brass loads near the amount over that this was to a 280 AI, like proportionally. So like it wasn't like Max Book plus 5 grains. It was like Max Book plus 2. And that really isn't a lot. So that case is eating that pressure up like crazy. The neck tension on him is nuts. He said it was the hardest bullet he's ever pulled.
I was watching, it was a pretty early YouTube video. I don't remember which channel it was, but the guy was, pulling apart and dissecting. And when he did it, the case was just ripped apart, destroyed. Did
he use like a manual puller or did he use a hammer puller? He used some sort of manual puller. Like
he might have been using channel locks.
He probably used mechanical extraction, where Ben used inertia extraction. So like with a bullet pulling mallet. But so after all that was said and done, then the last piece of hesitation that I had is the viability to reload it. And this is a both sides of my mouth statement because I also shoot a lot of factory ammunition because I don't have infinite amounts of time. And nowadays, like what I load for a specific reason. Like it's with 300 Super Wisdom was a great example. Thanks, Barnes. I
legit say thank you.
I have like 700 of those projectiles, which I'm going to load. The 6 arc 95 grain LRX. It's not a factory offering. 6 arc 90 grain Tip Game King. Not a factory offering. Some silly stuff in 308 and 30-06, 4570 the way I like to play it, and then like volume stuff. Like I load that because it's economical. But everything else, like if I find a factory analog that performs to the level that I'm comfortable with, I'm running it. Right? If it's the bullet I want, it's the velocity I want, it's the consistency I want, the accuracy I want, I'm running it. Like it's just easier. Like it just is. And sometimes it outperforms what I can load to. Like I'm getting ready for this elk hunt. I'm shooting 300 Win Mag. I'm shooting Barnes Vortex LR ammo, 190 grain LRXs. SD was 4, a little over 4.6, and I shot like a sub 4-inch group at 600 yards twice. And I said, okay, I'm not going to do better than that on the bench. Like, what am I chasing? And so part of me is like, okay, every bullet I could ever want from a construction and profile standpoint is on this table right now. And I'm looking specifically at the Fusion and the Barnes LRX. If the terminal ascents shoot out of the gun, They're also one of the most compelling projectiles that's come out, just due to the way they're built, their profile, and what they bring to the table. And they're real. Like, when they go, and they are something else. But everything I could ever want is on the table in a loaded format, and the numbers are not BS. And that was the big thing. So once Ben had presented me with that data that he had compiled, and then we were looking at the powder, at powders similar to it, from a burn rate and characteristic standpoint, it was immediately apparent to me that, like, oh, it would be also an easy cartridge to load, but I don't have to. And that's okay. I want to be able to, which is why every centerfire cartridge I own a correspondent set of dies for. Whether I load for it or not is somewhat inconsequential, but I have the dies for it and I have the know-how to it, or I have loaded for it at some point. But with this, it's like, man, does a guy even care?
Well, and that's one thing I've seen for a lot of folks, the big sticking point. And I guess if you're like an avid reloader,
sure,
that's realistic. That would be a sticking point. This is, by and large, this is a hunting cartridge.
It's in the name.
You're not typically burning copious amounts of ammo. So, from a economic standpoint, which sometimes I could argue, how economical reloading really is, maybe
easy, buddy.
There
are spouses and partners that listen to this. You're saving money.
After your initial investment, you start to recoup. Well, I'm just trying to help you out there. Where I'm so, and like, is it reloadable? Yes. I did reach out to Eric pre-podcast because some time had passed, and I was like, oh, is there more information? Is there anything that you can give us as far as
tools, components,
data, all the things? And he was like, not now, but soon. Yeah. So really nothing new to report, but I guess
it is coming.
Is it reloadable? Yes. Is it coming? Yes. And is the powder going to be? The powder isn't, like what they've said. Essentially, it's nothing you're not going to be able to get your hands on.
Correct. And
it's like, I think it'll likely be somewhat different than what they have, just because they are getting some proprietary type stuff. But I don't think it's going to be any different at the same time.
And that's the ammunition industry on the whole. Like.
Right. Yeah, that's not out of the ordinary.
Yeah, it's not like there's a big hopper in the middle of the room when they're loading at Federal, Hornady, Barnes, Winchester, Remington, and there's somebody up there pouring 8-pound jugs of Varget into the big slurry machine. That's not how it works. Like, it's the equivalent that you buy off the shelf as a hobbyist reloader is Varget. The chemical equivalent done at your ammunition manufacturer is not Varget, but it's a chemical equivalent. In small batch stuff and in initial runs, likely it is Varget, for instance. And that's not what I'm saying is loaded in this, because it's not. But what they're loading is a commercial product at the big ammunition facilities. The powder that is going to go into these cases will not surprise you. In fact, open up a load manual and look at 280 Ackley or 7 Mag. It's on the list. It's there. And so it's nothing. I thought at first maybe they came up with a new propellant. They didn't. It was just something that we as regular consumers could buy. Huh? Just regular, which is great. Let me see. I kind of submitted them to memory.
While you're doing that, I'll mention...
That one was there. That one was there.
Oh.
That one was there. That one was there. That one was there.
What do you mean that one was there?
That was the data. I've seen the data.
What, you went up to the mothership or something? What are you talking about?
Yeah. It's all real.
You're being kind of mysterious. I don't
Yeah, I have to be.
I thought we were in the trust tree.
We are in the trust tree, but this is a publication going out. The data's coming.
Another thing I think is cool, and I think we probably said this before, but bears repeating in that you can pick up some really good rifles that are chambered for this cartridge.
Ton of them.
And that's important because you need the cartridges, and then you need the rifle to push it through. And, there's always the custom option, yes, but I think for the masses, for a cartridge to achieve success, you need your factory offerings in both regard.
Yes. And there's even economical options too. It's not all just boutique stuff. Like Weatherby Mark 5s are expensive. Proof Glaciers are very expensive. There's a Savage option.
Yep.
And an intelligent configuration, not some sort of whiz bang, pieced together amalgamation of a rifle. Oh, you've got a list here.
Yeah, I got the list right here. I brought a printout, Ryan. So it's Savage, as you mentioned, right? Think what you could do with the Savage in that terminal ascent package. You can go do some work, right? Savage, Weatherby, as we mentioned, Fierce Firearms, Horizon Firearms, Christensen Arms, Altera Arms, Seekins Precision, and Proof. Those are the ones that I'm aware of, and I would say probably more coming.
More to come. It's still a very new cartridge, and there's still a lot of skeptics about it. And like truthfully, and actually, so Seekins is a good one. So Maddie over at Seekins and I correspond routinely enough throughout the year. I usually get to see him at Western Expo, sometimes at Sheep, and then he pops up to the shop from time to time. And they were working with Federal on the 7BC right away. And he, like Maddie, he tells you exactly how it is.
100%.
And there is no left or right. It is just right down the middle.
Not a lot of mincing of words.
Not a bit. Nope.
Great guy, big personality.
Big personality.
We get to at the expo. We're just right across from each other. So always a treat.
No better cheerleader than.
Oh man,
no,
a hype man for sure.
And I said, "What is this thing?" And he's like, "Brother, it's the future." And he's a utilitarian man. Like he would not glom onto something that was, a fad. He would not glom onto something that was mostly smoke and mirrors and not substance. And he's like, it's the future. And I had a billion questions. I'm like, what happens to the throat? What happens to the barrel? Can the suppressors take it? He's like, yep, it's all fine. He goes, it's kind of linear. Like if you're pushing that bullet with that bearing surface at that velocity down that barrel, whether it's in a 7 PRC, a 280 Ackley, a 7 Rem Mag, a 7 Backcountry, or a 28 Nosler, if you hit a certain velocity threshold, the like reality of decrement to your barrel life is real. Like it goes down, right? Your barrel life goes down. That should be an expectation. If you start pushing a 7mm projectile that weighs 175 grains, so it's got quite a bearing surface, over $3,000, it's gonna eat your barrel steel. But it's gonna eat it much the same in a 7 PRC as a 7 Rem Mag, as a 28 Nas, and it's not like it's a super damning prospect. Now, again, it is 80,000 PSI, so a slight bit more, but not. It's not like we have a 100 round gun.
No,
not
by any stretch of the imagination. And the numbers that it's achieving, it's not like we're saying, it's, cooking at $4,000 or something like that. It's nothing super outside the realm of what kind of a lot of cartridges, come close to or whatever.
Well, that's a good point. So
it's not, in some ways it's not doing new things, but it's doing all the things a different way and allowing you to deliver it in a much shorter compact package. There's less give and take. You know what I mean? You're like, well, yeah, I wanted the velocity, so I got the 24-inch barrel, and then somebody says, well, I want a shorter rifle. I want it to be whatever, lighter, shorter, handy. So I know I'm sacrificing velocity. It's less give and take. It's all give. It's like, yeah, I got all the things I wanted, and it's going to do everything I want it to do. And there's a factory rifle in it, and there's factory ammo for it, and now I can go hunt whatever the heck I want to go hunt. Like realistically,
Yeah.
I don't think there's, and some people might argue, the big bears, coastal brown bears and things like that. But realistically, I don't think there's anything in North America that you could not shoot with this rifle.
No. So here's a cool thing. So this is the 170 terminal scent load. I'm gonna spill the beans on a little bit of chronograph data. The 22-inch gun clocked at about 3060.
Mm-hmm.
That's 100 feet per second faster than my 280 is pushing a 168 grain projectile that does not have the BC, which BC isn't everything, and you've heard me say that a lot. But it's going 3060 with a more sensible and safe load because my 280 AI is over book.
Okay.
At 2960. I'm over book by, well, here I'll tell you.
And that's what the 170 terminal
scent. So we're within 2 grains of bullet mass. We're 100 feet per second faster. And my 280 AI load, I would never divulge to a person.
Well, and I guess going back to what I was saying, like a couple of my buddies have shot brown bears with, I think one was...
It's 100 feet per second faster. My 280 AI is 100 feet per second faster than the book max from Nosler because I am overpressured. I've overloaded it intentionally. And this is 100 feet per second faster than that. And this is a safe load.
And is there a barrel discrepancy there too, though?
Oh, yeah. Good point, Mark. That was a 22-inch barrel. My 280 AI is a 25-inch barrel. Thank you. Right? So they figure conservatively 25 feet per second per inch. And that's the other part of this, too. So, the 16-inch gun, this is the hard part with this. And like full disclosure, my 280 AI is getting turned into a 7 Backcountry.
You did say that the other day.
Yeah, absolutely. Love the cartridge. Absolute pain in the butt to reload. That particular gun, the way the chamber was mapped, unfortunately, it was the wrong reamer. There was a miscommunication. There's some ambiguity between 280 40 degree, 280 Ackley by RCBS. Is the whole thing, and it was the wrong reamer, wrong throat, which is challenging. So there's a lot of attention that I have to pay to the loading practice, extra steps. I have to bushing. I have to mandrel. I hate it. And when it shoots, and it shoots awesome. 168 ABLRs, 2960. It's flying. I
mean, that sounds fantastic.
Absolutely, it is.
Can you hold your one thought, and can I go back to what I was saying? And I want to get your thoughts on it.
Sure.
So my two buddies, and I've mentioned them before, different hunts, they shot brown bears. With I think one had a 300 Win mag, I think the other a 300 short mag. Pushing 180 grainers. I don't know. I can't remember which bullet. Probably like a trophy bonded bear claw or something like that at the time. And I guess where I'm going with that 170 terminal scent, okay, 10 grains less, right? But probably going approximately the same velocity, faster, less diameter. Probably better sectional density. So I just wonder, and there's probably brown bear outfitters out there going, shut this guy up.
Sure.
Come with your 338, come with your 375, and I don't disagree. Right? I'm just kind of going off of a couple things that I'm aware of, and they both, they had great experiences. They killed bears, no problem. I mean, I know a person that shot a giant brown bear with a 308. Intentionally. It was not it was like put the stock on it, shot it. So I guess where I'm going with it, I just think it does have, I think it has the gas to do everything you could ever want it to do in a short, compact package.
Definitely.
There.
And so
that was my point.
Where Mark and I started arguing about how we're going to have our backcountries built. The hard part was like the 16-inch gun performed so damn admirably. And there's a part of my brain that's a bit broken because it's so different. It's so radical to think about that 16-inch. And we talk about the chronograph data in the Cartridge video production. So I won't regale you with all of it because it's dry and boring. But I'll skip right to the good parts. So the 16-inch proof that Mark has in front of him, and these are new bores, by the way. They're going to burnish in. I shot each one 10 times before we went out, and then Mark and I shot a total of probably another 30 rounds through the two of them. So very new bores. They're going to speed up. The 16-inch gun was moving the 175 Fusion at 28.55. That's massive. The 22-inch gun was just under $3,000. So it's not a huge discrepancy considering. Now, there's another 7mm cartridge that's on the market right now that everybody's enamored with. And it's a fine cartridge.
It is a fine cartridge. It's no slouch.
Nope, not at all. We cut almost more turrets for it than any other cartridge.
I mean, just say it.
7 PRC.
Yeah.
And so
it's not a dirty word.
No, I know. I don't want to paint the cartridge in a bad light.
Yeah. I don't think we will.
Okay. So part of the custom turret program is we read every one of them. We comb the data. So the first thing I do in the morning and the last thing I do at night is when I have custom turret orders in the inbox, I go through the data packet that the customer sends over. And factory Hornady 7 PRC, 175 ELDX, box posted velocity is 3,000 feet per second. If I see the box posted velocity on it, or for that matter, any other factory load, Federal PowerShock 180 grain South Point 300 Win Mag is 2960 feet per second. Also super popular. If I see that 7 PRC 175 ELDX 3,000 feet per second, it gets flagged as factory load. That gets distributed to myself or any of the 12 guys on the team. And then we call that customer. We talk about.
No, but that wouldn't be unique to.
No, not 7
that
just
cartridge.
Every cartridge.
That's just good practice, right?
But this is a side-by-side now in 7mm bores. And so we then reach out to that customer and we explain like, hey, there is very likely a discrepancy with the box posted velocity of any ammunition in any cartridge and what your rifle will actually produce. What we recommend doing is getting a chronograph or doing an MV validation procedure using like geoballistics, for instance. Super neat process to discover what your actual velocity is, because that discrepancy shows up downrange huge. And most of the 7 PRC data that we get is in the mid 28s.
Okay.
And those are out of 22 and 24 inch guns. So 2840, 2860 is where they land. Some of the guys that are hand loading them are getting them warmer than that, and they'll get into the 29s, or they'll step down in bullet mass and they'll go to like a high BC 155 or something like that, and then they'll get them, well north of 3. But with the 175 load, like real numbers that we're seeing from hundreds of customers with chronograph validated factory guns, they're or standard barrel lengths anyways. I shouldn't say factory guns because a lot of guys could be building them. Mid 28s. And that's a 22 to 24 inch barrel. So with a 16-inch gun, if I'm hitting that performance level, which is huge, by the way, if you're launching a high BC 175 projectile at 2850, you have an intercontinental ballistic missile. And so if I'm able to hit that out of a 16-inch gun, as opposed to a 22 or a 24, why wouldn't you go with a 16-inch? Because then I said something cute like, I think I'm going to land around 20. But then we were shooting the 195 Burgers. This one was cool. The 195 Burger, there was less than 100 foot per second delta between the two. It was 12 feet per second per inch is what it worked out to be, which is nothing. And so
that's what's so interesting to me too.
Yeah. And so it's leaning me very hard towards a 16-inch gun.
I mean, that's one thing. You're like, I think I'll do
18 or 20.
You said 18 or 20. I go, no, 16.
Yeah. And it's like, after I sat and I studied on it a little bit more, why? Like if I can get 2840, 2850 out of a 175 high BC projectile, in a 16-inch bolt gun, and I shoot a can that's 6 inches long, and now my net OAL is the same as this rifle is, as you see. Why wouldn't I do that?
I mean, that overall package comes out to be essentially the same length as
a 22-inch gun.
As a 22. Yeah, I've got a my Browning A-Bolt 65 Creed has a 22-inch barrel.
Yeah.
You know,
like, why wouldn't I do a 16-inch gun?
That's where I go back. You get all the things.
I do, and I wouldn't even shoot a 175. I'd shoot a 152 or a 168.
I mean that if you're trying to creep back up, what was the 155?
The TAs, they were moving. They were
out of the 16.
Okay, let me look here. I have a lot of pictures. Okay, so that's Fusion. What do we go? We went Fusion LRX. That's Fusion LRX. 3133 out of the 155 TA from the 22-inch gun. 3060 out of the 16-inch gun.
I just like with that bullet, what can't?
Yeah.
The stuff that I'm going to hunt.
Yep.
What can't I knock down with it?
All right.
And the answer is nothing.
Nothing. So I've got a short 6.5 Creedmoor.
What's the PC on that 155?
I've got a short 6.5 Creedmoor. Just a little fella, 18-inch gun.
Yeah, 5.86. My lord.
Hauling. That 18-inch Creedmoor that got 24 and change, 100 feet per second, with a 140 ELD. And to know that I'm stacking almost 600 feet per second onto it, picking up just a few grains of mass, and I'm in a shorter barrel is nuts to think about. Because I'd hunt a 6.5 Creedmoor at 2,473 feet per second to probably 400 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't hunt much more than 500 yards, period, regardless of what I have. So I think I turn my 280 AI right into a 16-inch 7BC.
I think you'll likely use the rifle more.
1,000% I will.
I would almost venture to guess, like when you look through all your options, you're like, I'm going to go on a hunt.
Yeah. Why wouldn't I pick that one?
Why wouldn't you reach for that one? I think you would more often than not, and if the rifle shot well and you liked the way it ended up and all the things, it'd be hard not to reach for that one.
I agree. Whether it was whitetails in Wisconsin, and that's then just the form factor of the rifle. Like nice, short, handy little rig. Like I've got a 16-inch Tikka 308 that I like for hunting whitetails in Wisconsin. I'm still going to hunt it. Gentle cartridge. But it would be like that
one's really cool.
Yeah, it'd be like, I need a gun. And I don't think that Federal's prospect with this was to make a one-gun solution.
The one gun to do it all.
No.
I think it certainly falls into that bucket.
It does, but so do cartridges like 6.5 Creedmoor and 7 PRC and 6.5 PRC. Like, and I know that the guys at Hornady
and 30-06.
Yeah, I know the guys at Hornady aren't saying like, oh, we're going to make a cartridge that we don't have to make other cartridges. That wasn't their design intent when they came out with 7 PRC or 6.5 PRC or 6.5 Creedmoor. Certainly not. But the aforementioned cartridges do it. 7BC does it in a package that is hilarious. 16-inch barrel. And then you put a 6-inch suppressor on there, like a Mag Zenith, which is what we tested with these things. And man, do you have a package. What a sweet rig.
Recoil, I thought, was...
It's there, but it's not undue. So
it's not undue. To me, it wasn't anything out of the ordinary.
No. So that is pretty mappable, right? So you can get a good idea of what it's going to feel like compared to other things.
Well, I was shooting predominantly this proof.
Sure.
And it's like it's not a flyweight rifle.
It is not.
So that probably helped. And then we had the suppressor on it with the brake. So we had some things working in our favor for sure. Yeah.
It was not worse than like guns that I have that are worse are my Kimber Mountain Ascent 308 without a suppressor on it.
Right.
Like without the brake on it. It's more than an unbraked 30-06 by a sliver.
Okay.
Yep. But again, you can go on shooterscalculator.com and you can go to the Recoil Energy Calculator tab. You type in your firearm mass, your bullet weight, your muzzle velocity, and your powder charge weight. and it will give you an approximation of foot-pounds of recoil energy. And it's less than other 7mm cartridges pushing the same bullet at the same speed that use more powder.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Do we want to go through the targets at all?
I don't know. It was kind of a unfair shake. We went through that quick. The guns were hot.
That is true.
Yeah. And like I shot them the night before, both of them with fusions, to just burnish them a little bit. And both of them were sub MOA. Like handily. And the fusions that we shot, sub MOA. That's the Weatherby, and that's the proof. So they're MOA or better.
Yeah, and I would say even with hot barrels, I know I ripped a couple with significant Mirage,
the Mirage
coming
is
off the
just ridiculous. Yeah.
So again, not quite the fair shake there. So I agree to not put too much weight.
Say the biggest group,
and I'd say that all the groups are about MOA though.
A little over a minute to under a minute, around 3/4.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think with more time and rounds down the barrels, we'd see that improve. And then we have to figure out like which load are we going to shoot, because the guns do have preference, and you can see that on the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Like the proof, like the 155 TAs, the Weatherby hated them. Or no, the Weatherby liked the 155 TAs, the proof hated them.
Mm-hmm. There was one target I put.
And then the proof, like the 170 TAs, the Weatherby hated them. The 195 burgers out of the proof were like awesome. 195 burgers out of the Weatherby weren't great. The Weatherby loved the fusions. The proof shot them good, not great. The 168 LRXs actually shot about the same through both, around a minute, a little under. So, yeah, you're going to figure out what load shoots really good. I had very high hopes for the Fusion, and I was hoping that it was going to be kind of the best of both worlds, like performance and economy, and it turned out it was. Single-digit SDs on the chrono. I had kept the Garmin Zero running the whole time while I was shooting. I deleted the first 3 shots, I think, because there was a notable step in MV. And after the first 3 shots had been taken out of the string, single digit, which is crazy. I would have never guessed out of a steel case with so much neck tension that it could be so consistent.
As much as we've talked about the Fusion loading, it is, and we mentioned kind of the more matte finish on. And I guess this goes back to reloading, which really it's not that big a deal to me. But that would be one that Federal recommends that you don't reload.
Yep.
Because the nickel finish is only on the exterior.
Correct.
Not the interior.
Correct.
So.
And here again, like as a fanatical reloader, I'm thinking a guy doesn't have to.
I think by and large for how this is going to be used, it's not a giant deal.
No. This is one of those deals where when you find the load that shoots out of your gun and you're content with it, buy a case. You have a lifetime supply, and you can go through the North American 29 and never get to the bottom of that case.
What do you think? What do you speculate for? It's like I think Federal did a really nice job with the bullet pallet that they loaded up here. Do you see other ammunition manufacturers
following suit? I personally believe they have to. I don't mean to sound like terse, but I think they have to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To me, it seems like a cartridge that's going to gain popularity.
It is. We're seeing custom turrets come through on them. The release was hugely talked about. There was a delay in the ammunition, which I understand, like that happens. And that slowed things down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But now you can go to midwayusa.com. You can buy the ammo. You can go to your local retailer, get the gun. Like now there's no excuse. I think if anything's preventing it from rocket shipping into popularity, it's just there's a bit of mystique around it. And I fully and completely understand that. I am here to say on record, etched into stone, launched into space, into the ionosphere. It is legit.
I agree. It met every expectation
Yeah.
that I could have had.
It exceeded it.
And I mean, and I've said it probably has kind of like my gap off when we were talking with Eric, and even when we shot him the other day, but I'd have to think that this is not the only cartridge going to be offered with this case technology, and I am really excited to see what is to come.
Yeah, this might not even be the sweet one.
Right? That is for the future to hold.
Yeah.
I actually don't know. But I've been very curious about it.
January's right around the corner.
That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to see. Did we hit everything, Ryan?
I think so. I think if you've been curious about the backcountry, pull into the parking area. Get out of the truck, man. Take a walk. You're going to love it.
You're going to like the way you look.
Even if there's bears, it doesn't matter. It's a cool cartridge. And more than it being a cool cartridge, it is a revolutionary technology.
Mm-hmm.
And truly. And you know what, Mark? Actually, there is another chambering with peak alloy. 223. Right now, it's a mill LE thing.
Okay. Right.
You can go look at the numbers right now. If you are a gas gun guy and you know things about 11.5 ARs and 14.5 ARs, and you know what they push bullets like the 70 grain Barnes TSX, which is a SOCOM loading on the 64 grain barrier blind bullets, 62 grain green tips, 55 grain ball. You know what they go out of a 20-inch M16A2 at. Imagine getting better than that performance out of an 11.5 AR without having to regas the gun.
That sounds handy.
There's Bill Geisley did a really cool video where he kind of candy striped a magazine. It's like alternating brass case standard, peak alloy case, brass case, peak alloy. And he's got the chronograph set up and he's firing the weapon. You watch the velocity go crazy high, standard, crazy high, standard. He flicks the selector switch to full and then he fires the weapon. You watch the ejection path and it doesn't change. And so like somebody who used to work in the AR space, mapping gas is can be an exercise. And, you know, when you run suppressed or when you run low mass or you run high mass or you run different springs or crazy stocks, a lot of times there's goofing around with port diameter, an adjustable gas block, so either restricting or opening flow, eclectic gas tube designs like pigtails and things like that, or futzing around with buffer weights to try to get the timing right for the gun and then to get the ejection path to be reasonable. Bill just took I think it was a Super Duty, Geisley Super Duty, like out of a box, and then just put a magazine in it, went pop, 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 click, pop, and it just works.
Magic.
Yep. Peak alloy.
Cool. Well, there you have it. The much asked for.
Yeah.
7mm backcountry. We got a lot of content on this bad boy, and man, I think it warrants it. Like we said, I mean, this is the revolutionary. I think this is the new frontier of cartridge design technology. It's going to allow us to do, in some ways, the same thing better, and sometimes a lot better. Yeah, cool stuff, man. I don't know. It's neat.
Super neat.
And just really excited to see this new frontier evolve. Cool. Ryan, thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Boy, I know we're all excited about what's to come, what the future holds, but I tell you what, I wouldn't, like Ryan said, I don't think you need to sit on this.
No.
If you like it, there's a lot to like. Get one.
Yeah.
It's likely going to do what you need it to do.
It will.
There, I said it. It's out there.
In the ionosphere forever.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.
Bye.
There you have it, folks. Thank you very much for listening. As usual, give this video a like if you liked it, comment something below, and give us a subscribe to the Vortex Nation podcast channel. It would mean a lot to us. Also, why don't you give us a follow over on Instagram while you're at it, at Vortex Nation Podcast. We'd love to hear from you over there, and we'll keep you updated with all kinds of cool photos and videos from our adventures that we do here. Otherwise, we will see you on the next one. Thank you again. Happy hunting and shooting, everybody. Have a good one.